He carried the injured alien queen 90 miles through a scorching desert. Now she wants to marry him. The desert of Kalora was a graveyard of bones and broken machines. Nothing lived there long. Not the invaders from Earth, not the Jirani natives, not even the predators that circled above the cracked sands. To step into that wasteland was to sign your death warrant. But Sergeant Daniel Hale didn't have a choice. His transport had been blown out of the sky, and the rest of his squad lay buried under the wreckage. His only companion now was the figure he had dragged from the smoking crater, a tall, luminous woman, her silver skin marred by burns and cuts, her golden eyes glazed with pain. The alien queen. He hadn't known who she was when he first pulled her free, but the way the others had tried to capture her before the ship exploded told him enough. She wasn't just another Jirani. She was their ruler, their symbol, their prize. Now she lay slumped against him, her breathing shallow, every step a struggle as he carried her across dunes that stretched like waves of fire beneath the sun. "You should leave me," she whispered, her voice cracked and dry. "I will only slow you down." Daniel adjusted her weight on his shoulders, his back screaming from exhaustion. "Not happening. You'll live. I'll make damn sure of it." Her lips curved faintly, almost a smile. A soldier of Earth, saving his sworn enemy. How strange your heart must be. He didn't answer. His boots sank into the scorching sand with every step, his throat dry as ash. But he kept moving. Because somewhere beyond this desert was water, shelter, safety, and because leaving her behind would make him no better than the warlords who burned cities and called it victory. Hours bled into days. The queen drifted in and out of consciousness, sometimes whispering in her language, sometimes clutching his chest as fever racked her body. Daniel scavenged what little he could, condensation from broken machines, a handful of thorn fruit that made his stomach churn. He tore strips from his uniform to bind her wounds. By the third day, his vision blurred with heat. The desert mocked him with mirages, shimmering oases that dissolved when he reached for them. Still, he walked. One step, then another. When the queen stirred again, her golden eyes studied him. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why do this for me? Your people would hail you as a hero if you brought back my head." Daniel stopped, breathing hard, and set her gently down beneath the shadow of a jagged rock. He met her gaze, sunburnt and hollow-eyed. "Because you're alive. And because somewhere in all this madness, someone has to remember what it means to be human." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, slowly, she reached up and touched his cheek. Her hand was cool despite the heat, her fingers trembling. "Strange," she whispered. "The man I was taught to fear has become the one carrying me through death itself." They pressed on. He carried her when her strength failed, dragging his own battered body forward on sheer will. At night, the desert turned cold as steel, and he wrapped her in his torn jacket, ignoring his own shivering. He told her stories to keep her awake, about rain on Earth, about oceans that stretched farther than deserts, about his little sister who used to laugh even when the world crumbled. The queen listened, her head resting against his chest, and for the first time in his life, Daniel saw not an alien monarch, but a woman, lonely, burdened, fragile beneath her crown of responsibility. On the seventh day, the horizon shimmered differently. Not a mirage. This time, he smelled it, the faint tang of water. Daniel nearly collapsed in relief. With the last of his strength, he carried her the final stretch to a hidden oasis, where clear pools reflected the burning sky. He lowered her gently into the water, watching the grime and blood wash from her silver skin. Her eyes fluttered open, and for the first time, true light returned to them. "You saved me," she whispered. Daniel sank to his knees, finally allowing exhaustion to crash over him. "We saved each other." They stayed there, recovering. He built a fire, gathered fruit, nursed her wounds. The queen healed slowly, but every day she grew stronger. She began to smile more, to speak with him about her people, her palace, her dreams of peace. And Daniel found himself answering not as a soldier, but as a man. When she could finally stand again, she stepped close to him beneath the starlit desert sky. Her hand found his, her fingers entwining with surprising gentleness. "Daniel Hale," she said softly, his name flowing like music on her tongue. "I am bound by law and tradition to repay the life debt you have given me. But what I offer now is more than duty." He looked into her golden eyes, his heart thundering. "What are you saying?" The queen lifted her chin, regal even in the rags of survival. "I want you to be more than my savior.
I want you as my consort. My husband. My king.
The words hung between them, heavier than the desert sun.
Daniel's breath caught.
Marriage? Between him, a broken soldier, and her, ruler of an empire?
It was madness. His throat tightened. You don't understand. My world would call me a traitor. My people.
Her finger pressed gently against his lips. Your people will learn. As mine must.
But I have seen your heart. I have felt your strength.
And I know this, kingdoms rise and fall, but what you carried through that desert was not just my body. It was hope itself. Daniel searched her eyes, seeing not just a queen but a woman who had walked the edge of death with him. He remembered the way she had clung to his stories, the way her hand had steadied him when his legs nearly gave out. And for the first time, he allowed himself to imagine a world where war was not endless. A world where he could choose more than orders and survival. The desert wind whispered around them, carrying the scent of life from the oasis. Slowly, Daniel took her hand, pressing it against his chest. If I say yes, he murmured, it won't be because of crowns or thrones. It'll be because of you. Her golden eyes softened, and for the first time, the alien queen smiled without sorrow. Then that is enough, she whispered. Beneath the endless stars of Kalora, where death had stalked them and hope had seemed impossible, a soldier and a queen sealed a bond not forged by treaties or wars, but by survival, sacrifice, and something stronger than both.
Love.
And though the desert had taken almost everything from them, it had given them one thing in return, the chance to build a new future, together.